But, and maybe I would like to do a really good film. But,
what do you do if you don't work? What's your life like?
Oh, I have a lovely home. I have a beautiful swimming pool. I love to swim. I love to walk. I love to bicycle. I love to see my friends.
Mm-hmm. And just kind of take it easy.
Yeah, and I love gardening, and I like going away for a week or two at a time, and just not thinking about myself, you know, and not worrying about the makeup and getting up early like we did this morning.
Don't remind me of it.
I didn't sleep all night thinking about getting up. I don't know how you do it.
We'll talk about that one day when I write my book. Doris, I want to ask you about some of the people you write about, because you write about them, again, fairly honestly, and some of them write about you, and some of them aren't too complimentary about you. If I read off some names, will you just give me like a one-line description?
I'll try.
Rock Hudson.
Oh, he's really neat. Funny man. I love him. Very nice.
Cary Grant.
Lovely man. He is. I enjoyed working with him. He has a great sense of humor. He bought 3 of my books, by the way, sent them over for autographs.
You said you found him kind of hard to get through to.
Well, he's nice, but he is a very private person.
Kirk Douglas.
Kirk Douglas, I don't know Kirk terribly well. We worked on Young Man with the Horn.
You did not say nice things about him in the book, and he doesn't say nice things about you.
Really?
Shall I quote?
No, okay.
Just so happens, in case you said only nice things, I have here.
Marked.
The picture I made with Kirk was one of the few utterly joyless experiences I had in films.
Well, that doesn't mean that...
But then Kirk never makes much of an effort towards anyone else. He's pretty much wrapped up in himself. That was not, by the way, that's not my experience with him, but it was obviously.
Well, no, I was really referring to the film. I did not enjoy making that film, and I don't think it had much to do with Kirk.
He also says, I haven't a clue as to what's underneath Doris. She's just about the remotest person I know.
Well, see, we feel the same way about each other.
Ronald Reagan, you went out with Ronald Reagan.
Yes.
But he was a Democrat.
Yes, he was. A very strong Democrat.
What was he like then?
He's very nice.
Oh, come on. What was he like then?
He's a nice man. He's a good dancer. Oh, yeah. Very good dancer.
Would you vote for him, knowing him from those days? Does it have any effect on the way you feel?
We sort of are, you know, we differ now.
You said even then, though, that he was making speeches, that he didn't talk to you, he talked at you.
Yeah, he loves to make speeches, which is fun.
One of the parts from the... you have the feeling I'm going to read more... I'm going to tell more of the book than you are. You sit here smiling and blonde and talking about being happy. And again, if we go through this, there is hardly a page on which really life was not very difficult for you. You used to be a Christian Scientist. You're not anymore.
No.
Is it the religion that has done it? And if so, what religion? Where are you in your own head?
Christian Science was a tremendous influence in my life, Barbara. It really was. And my practitioner, by the name of Martin Brunis, who has since passed on, was a great help to me when I first came to California.
But you gave it up?
Yes, I'm just not a church member.
You also felt that perhaps if your husband, who was a Christian Scientist, had gone to a doctor, that he might have not have died.
Yes. Yes, he was a little late getting to the hospital, really. But he chose to do it that way.
Is it the religion that makes you happy in spite of I mean, here's a woman who had 3 not very good marriages. Your marriage to Marty Melcher wasn't very good when it ended. He took all your money, or somehow all your money went gone. You did a television show, your first television show, which you hated, and yet everything is glorious.
I didn't hate
the
5 years. Mm-hmm. I did not.
But you know what I'm asking you. I mean, what makes it all okay? Why aren't you sitting there saying, you know, gee, I lost all my money, and you know, I don't know. Well,
no, but money isn't that important.
Where does the happiness
come from? Where your head is.
Okay,
my head is really right on there. You know, it's on straight, and I enjoy every day, and I'm grateful for all of the happenings. You know.
Is it a better life for you now than it's been in years?
Yes. Oh, I love my life right now. Just love it.
There is a portion of the book that's very frightening, and it's a portion that you clear up, and we have a little time to do it now, and I'd like to. Your son, Terry Melcher. Mm-hmm. The house in which Sharon Tate was murdered by what we now know was the Charles Manson group and followers was your son's house. And there had been at the time a feeling that Charles Manson was out not to murder Sharon Tate, but to murder Terry Melcher. Can you tell us anything about that and what the aftermath was of it?
Well, first of all, the house was not Terry's. It was a rental house, and many people have rented that home. He had moved out, I guess it must have been at least 8 months before the murders. Mm-hmm. He was living in my beach house in Malibu. And Charles Manson knew that he was living in Malibu because I had bought my husband a telescope, and it was on the veranda at the beach house. And Charlie Manson stole that telescope.
But he also knew Terry Melcher. He'd felt that Terry Melcher had wanted to record him at one point and then had gone back on his word. At least that's what Terry says in the book.
Well, no, Terry did not plan on recording Charles Manson.
But Manson thought he did.
He went to hear him and the singers and decided, in fact, he could not make the decision. I think it was the record company who had to make the final decision. But they did not plan on recording Charles Manson. But he was upset about that. However, they were really not after Terry.
But there was a time when both you and Terry had bodyguards during the Manson trial. It must have been terribly frightening for you. And Terry testified at this trial.
Yes.
Are you over that fear? Because for a long while you did have the bodyguards, both you and he.
Oh, no, we're fine. Yeah, we're cool. Everything's good. And that, I guess it was almost a year that we had bodyguards, which is a strange kind of thing to have going on in your home, you know.
You also speak in the book of a point in time when you had a nervous breakdown. And this is something that perhaps more people are talking about today, but again, they don't expect Doris Day to have had one. How did you get over it?
Well, if you remember, in the book I talked about, I thought that I was ill, Barbara, and I was not. And what was happening is that I was hyperventilating. And I don't know if you've ever hyperventilated.
It's when you're breathing too.
Yes, you take in too much oxygen. And suddenly, I was just gasping, and I didn't tell anyone. And I thought something was wrong with my lungs. And I was keeping the whole thing a big secret. And my nerves just, you know, they
It was a happy face on the outside and
No, it wasn't a happy face. But I was really undone about it, and I was having a bad time. But it was nothing. It proved to be nothing. But by the time I found out that it was nothing, I was an absolute wreck. So more people should know about hyperventilating. It isn't anything.
Is this the first television interview you've done in connection with this book?
I did Merv Griffin's show, but it will not be on until
Well, I'm asking because you speak very frankly in the book, and yet it's kind of harder when I talk with you about it.
Really?
Yeah. Do you feel very free and very easy about all the things that you've said in it?
Yes, I do.
And you're happy that people know the real you, even though there's things that are going to perhaps upset their image?
No, I don't care about my image. I don't even know what it is. I just feel that everyone has a story. Everyone here in this room has a story. You have a story.
And my story is such a bore compared to yours.
Oh, I would doubt that very much. I'm sure that you've gone through so many things that no one knows about, Barbara.
No, I think everything I've gone through, everybody knows. It's a somewhat different time today in television. But as you've gathered from this interview, there is much that you've learned about Doris Day and much more that's in the book. You still look like Peaches and Cream, and it's nice to know that Peaches and Cream can be that way even occasionally when there's some sour milk. How does that sound? It's called Doris Day, Her Own Story, and it's written in collaboration with A.E. Hotchner. And I thank you for being with us. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Barbara.
We have a message right now which will bring you, and then we'll be back.